Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 669, level 7 trustee. It might even be level 670. I have to correct that. Did our previous episode already, so it's 670, level 7 trustee. I have a trust. Definitely want to thank you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. This is Trust Christian in the Vault. Really excited and thankful to do this episode today. Really, we've evolved our training. A lot of trustees come to the training and they want to say they want to be in trust, or they say they want to have a trust, or they say they want to learn trust better. They want to get the structure right. They want to get a flow right. They want to know how things are moved in and out. Okay, so we're going to talk about the levels. So a lot of people don't know it's 10 levels to it. It's 10 levels. Level 1 through 7 though is the same person. Gonna go ahead and say this is 1 through 7. Because a lot of people don't know, oh man, Trust Christian, I have a trust. I'm in trusteeship. Okay. See, people think getting in the car is the game from 1 to 7. Oh man, Trust Christian, I have a trust. Trust Christian, I got into trust. Okay. They'll tell us I haven't opened up the bank account yet. They'll tell us that they don't know how to transfer assets yet, but they have a trust. See how it's 1 through 7? There's 10 levels. We're going to do another episode for just the 8, do an episode just for the 9. This is for the level 7. I have a trust. This is how you know they're just getting in trust, 1 through 7. Because what? They learned about it. They found out how to get a contract, but they don't know the difference between public and private. Their language is improper yet. They don't speak about it proper. What do they say? I have a trust. Every time you talk to them, I have a trust. They don't speak about it the way they're supposed to speak about it because they haven't consciously said, I'm going to change my speech of ownership yet. So there's still a level 1 through 7. That's all. It's nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. It's an evolution. So they'll say, I have a trust. Don't know really who the beneficiary is. Some people say, oh, I don't know how to transfer or take ownership of assets. Don't really fully function. Don't really fully know what the function of the entity is because there's various different types of trust. So, what type of trust do you have? So, some people say, oh, I don't know the difference between public and private trust. I don't know the difference between public and foreign trust or domestic and foreign trust. They don't know the difference. They don't know the difference between common law trust and other types of trust. So they're just a 1 through 7. I have a trust. They got a trust document. People have come to us with testamentary trust that they wrote on their own. People have come to us with public. They've come to us with domestic. They come to us with. Most of them don't come with private. They'll try to say they come with private, and we'll ask them who's the grantor. They barely know their name or who did that, or they'll say themselves. And so they have a trust. They have a living trust. They have a public trust and may not even know it. So many people say, "Oh, I have a trust." Well, you have a trust, and that's a public way of speaking. It's just a public way of speaking. It's an ownership mentality thought process. I have a trust. And so levels 1 through 7 means you just showed up to the game. People say, oh, I found out about the public private side. Now I got to get in it. So they get in the private side, and that's all they do is they just get in the private side. What is considered the private side? Start indulging in private education, start indulging in relationships that engage in the private sector, that live in the private sector, that operate successfully in the private sector. They get around the environment to a degree. Maybe they find someone, maybe they find a group of people. Doesn't mean they do anything. It just means they're around other successful people. We could judge this in anything that we do in performance. So 1 through 7 is generally focused on talent. A lot of trustees will attract the high value information. It will attract the 1% information. They'll say many are called, but few are chosen. Yeah, many are called to trust, for sure. Many are called. They're called through the Spirit to put themselves in a secure position, to put themselves in a legacy position, to put themselves in a position where they can live for generations to come, to actually have an impact in lives and things of that nature. That's 1 through 7. It's the dream. I have a dream. And then what they say, you have a trust, I have a dream. What's your dream? Oh, I don't want to die intestate. I don't want to pass along assets and let some third party get the assets because I didn't transfer them properly or pass them along properly. Level 1 through 7 says, I found out that there's an estate planning tool, as they call it, because they find out a mid-level is middle class information. Oh, I found out that I have an estate. You found out you had an estate. They find out that they have an estate, and now they want to put the estate in the proper position or a proper position, right? And then they do, or they try, or they attempt. This is level 7. I found out about the trust. I have a bunch of questions. I need to know what is the best one for me. How to operate in trust. This is why trustee training, we literally supply these people's needs. 1 through 7s. 1 through 7s generally they're going to get the education. They're focused on getting the information, as they call it. They're focused on fortifying their business practices. This is where we get a lot of trustees that they showed up, but do they have a business or do they have a job? So some may have a job, so they have a trust. Instead of them moving into a position of, I'm moving into trusteeship, so I don't have a trust, I am a trustee. There's a difference. You could be a trustee of many. So how does that go into you being limited as a trustee? It's not limited. So how does there have a trust when you're not limited to being a trustee? See, there's a difference between being and having. One implies ownership, one implies a state, and that leads to a state. So 1 through 7 is just showing up. Hey, I got the mindset. I want to do something. I don't want to work a job, or I have a business. I'm looking to protect it. I have an asset. I'm looking to protect it. I have a trust. I have an asset. It's the same thing. I have a trust. I have an asset. I'm looking to protect it. That's what they say. I have a trust or I have an asset and I'm looking to protect it. Okay, well, let's talk about now what that protection is going to look like because it requires action. That's level 8. But right now, level 7, 1 through 7 says you found out about the information. Right. But it didn't mean you did anything. Oh man, I've been listening to your videos, Trust Christian Vault. I have a trust, but I don't have any money to invest more in my education. That's literally all you're doing in trust is investing. You're not spending anymore. It's an investment. Everything you do in trusteeship is an investment. You're investing in your family estate so it can live for generations. If the money is more valuable today than it will be tomorrow because it's losing value, wouldn't it be best to put up the money today for your family estate before it loses the value? So you can have more now than later? And then later you will have more. But it's a different type of thought process. 1 through 7s, they showed up. They said, oh, I got in trusteeship. I have a trust, but I don't have any money. How do you get in trust and you don't have any money? Does that make any sense? So we're going to talk like that because people listen to the episode and they say, oh, I could reach out and say that to Trust Christian. No, there's no room for that. Oh, well, then we're not going to say you don't need one or you don't have to be in one or X, Y, and Z. Is now you know where you fall. In what category? I have a trust, but I don't have any money. I have a trust, but I don't have time to manage it. Okay, we deal with those trustees too. Usually have more money, but don't have the time. So we deal with those trustees as well. And in all actuality, we don't even have those trustees that come through. Usually the higher income earners are learners. And for that reason, they come into trustee training and they learn. They learn the speech. They learn how to move properly. That's how it works. Because they made more money, maybe they have more of a do it mentality. And that's what number eight is about, doing. Number next level is about doing. First level is about getting the information, learn about it, learn about the environment, learn about how to operate. That's a lot of the training. One through seven, you could count that as a extended period of time. You know, it's a forever plan. You know, this is where we share with trustees to come up with what is the mission statement. They have a trust, but the trust doesn't have a mission statement. Even if it was their trust, does it have a mission statement? Does it have, what's the intent? And then we get trustees, we're going to go there. Level 1 through 7 trustees are trustees that get into trusteeship and sit on assets. If you sit on assets, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard the theory, it takes money to make money. So if you sit on assets, you're sitting on capital. And it takes money to make money. It costs money to house money. So levels 1 through 7 don't really get that yet. They're still on, okay, I'm gonna get in trusteeship and I'm gonna sit on assets. They're sitting on assets. It doesn't work that way. If you sit on assets, then you know then it's gonna cost money to house those assets because you're a trustee. And doesn't it cost money for you to manage the assets? Yes, but instead of paying to manage you, then it doesn't it just cost to actually house the assets, hold the assets? Yes, just costing the trust to actually hold the assets, to have the assets. It costs. Oh, just Christian, you didn't tell me there was a hidden fee. How much is that hidden fee? The hidden fee is the maintenance fee. It's the cost of you going back and forth to the bank. It's the cost of you making sure that it doesn't lose money. That's the cost. When people talk about what is money, money is your energy. What are you trading to make sure that it can grow? The trust didn't couldn't drive the car. So you drove it. Okay, but what are you trading in as far as energy? What are you depositing? Or is it I have a trust and I'm sitting on assets? And that's what they do. So we wanted to address this thought process. We're going to talk about level 7 in another episode, but in this particular one, we just want to talk about what is a 1 through 7. And if you identify with some of these things as being a 1 through 7, it's like, okay, wow, at least I know I'm in the game. Right. Do you expose yourself to wealthy mentality? Everybody says I want generational wealth, but are you associating with other generational wealthers? We associate with other generational wealthers. It's not, though they're first gen, we associate with ones that are two, three, four generations deep. So you can hear the thought process. So you can hear the mindset. So you can feel the energy, their energy. I have a trust is ownership mentality. It's not trustee mentality. Sooner families convert over and correct their speech, they're going to move to level 8. Look forward to hearing from looking forward to hearing from you. Definitely looking forward to you all tapping on this episode and going to level 8 and finding out what level is. Level 8 is Christian at trustchristian.com to move to level 8. Christian at trustchristian.com is the email you can reach out to and learn once you want to pass 1 through 7 to 8. 8 is the training. Let's talk about what that training looks like now. Click on level 8, trustee. Peace. Enjoy.